The Israelites and the Philistines are facing off against each other in battle. The Israelites are camped on one hill and the Philistines are camped on another nearby hill. It is a beautiful day for a battle. The sun is shining, the birds are tweeting. Now, on the Philistine side of the camp, they have this big tall guy who's like 6'9", maybe even 7 feet tall. His name is Goliath. He has been bragging and boasting to his army that he has gonna come over and wipe out the Israelites, kill their king, and that no one from Israel can stop him. He's been saying this every day for 40 days. And the Israelites have been scared to come out and fight him because he's so big, so tall, and he has such huge armor. It's made of bronze. It weighs about 5,000 shekels, which is about 125 pounds. Also, he has a helmet made of bronze on his head. His spear also weighed about 300 shekels, which is about 15 pounds. So obviously, it was really heavy and no one could stand up against this guy. They were all scared. Now David was a young boy. He was just a shepherd. He had a shepherd's staff, some stones, and a sling. But David was not afraid of Goliath, even though everyone else was. David was afraid because he knew that there was a God who was bigger than Goliath, and God was on David's side. So David runs over to the Israelite camp, and he starts yelling at Goliath, "Hey, hey, you big tall guy over there, why don't you come down here and fight me?" Now people are looking around like, who's that little kid talking to our great warrior Goliath? What's going on here? And King Saul is sitting there and he's looking at David, and he's like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? David said, "I am the shepherd. This is my sheep, and these are my goats. And I'm not afraid of you. I will fight you." Then King Saul goes over and talks to David, and he asks him, "Hey, do you think that you can defeat this giant?" And David says, "Yeah, I'm not afraid of him. I've fought off bears and lions before. This is just a big tall guy. I'm not afraid of him." Now Saul's trying to convince himself, but he's thinking, this little shepherd boy is not gonna be able to take on Goliath. There's no way. So he says, "Okay, if you're sure you want to do this, we need to get you some armor." So they go over and get Saul's armor. They put it on David, but it doesn't fit. David's too small for Saul's armor. So they can't use that. Then David says, "No, I'm not gonna wear your armor. I'm not gonna use your sword because I'm a shepherd. I only have my shepherd's staff and my sling and some stones." Saul didn't believe that David was going to win, but he let him do his own thing. So David took off all of Saul's armor, went out into the battlefield, and started running towards Goliath. Now, when Goliath saw this little boy coming towards him with a shepherd's staff, he laughed. He thought it was hilarious. Goliath starts yelling at David, and he's like, "Hey, you little kid, why are you coming out here? Do you want to pick up my armor and be my servant?" But David was getting closer and closer. So Goliath takes a step back and he pulls out his spear and he throws it at David, trying to hit him, trying to kill him. But David dodged it, and he ran around Goliath. David was very nimble and quick and light on his feet. He was able to dodge all of Goliath's spears that he threw at him, and David was getting closer and closer and closer. And he pulled out his sling and he took a stone and he put it in his sling and he started winding it up, and he launched that stone and he hit Goliath right in the forehead. The stone bounced off the bronze helmet, but it left a big gash right above Goliath's eye. And now Goliath is holding his eye and he's staggering around and he's yelling at David, "You did that? I'm gonna kill you, you little kid. I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna rip your head off." David kept dodging and weaving around Goliath, and he kept throwing stones at him. Now the people of Israel and Judah were watching this whole thing happen, and they were cheering and screaming, "Go, David! Go, you got him! Throw that stone! Get that big tall guy!" And finally, after about 6 more hits from David's sling, Goliath fell on his face, and he died. Now that Israel saw that Goliath was dead, they were cheering and screaming and celebrating. They started to run towards the Philistia, and they were able to chase them away. They won the battle. Now, after Goliath was dead, David cut off his head, and he cut off some pieces of his armor. And he took them back to King Saul, and he said, "Here, you asked me to come and fight Goliath, and I did. Here's his head, and here's some pieces of his armor." King Saul was shocked. He couldn't believe that David actually did it. He said, "Wow, that's amazing. You defeated Goliath. You are a hero." From that day forward, no one ever said that David wasn't a hero. Everyone knew him as the hero who defeated Goliath. So why is this story important for us today? Well, first of all, it shows us that no matter how big or how tall or how strong someone is, it does not matter if they have all the armor and the weapons. If God is on your side, you will win. God will help you. You don't have to be scared. No matter what happens in life, as long as we know that God is on our side, we will win. We will be able to overcome whatever challenge that we might be facing. Secondly, this story teaches us that we should never underestimate the power of God. Just because Goliath thought he was too big and too strong and nobody could beat him doesn't mean that there wasn't someone who could actually beat him. That's why God chose David, a shepherd boy who was not afraid of him, who wasn't scared of him, who believed in God, who knew that God was going to help him. And God used David to defeat Goliath. So sometimes God might allow challenges to come our way just so that we can show the world that there is a God in heaven who can help us. It's not for us to be prideful and boastful like Goliath was. And it's not for us to be scared of the challenges that come our way, but to have faith in God and to know that God is going to help us. David didn't have faith in his armor. He didn't have faith in his sword. He had faith in God. And because of that, he won the victory. We're gonna learn more about David and Goliath next week. So make sure you come back then. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our Bible stories. Okay, until next time, remember, God loves you.